you go.
Okay, thank you very much, Tracy, and welcome all our friends from around the world. And hello, Olga, Nigel, Nadia, Georgia, Gayatri, Katrina, Sisley, Om Santi, Abdakar, Mustafa, Manju, Raihana, Nadia, and Tracy and me, Piya Ratna Piya from Nepal. So it's the first time I'm hosting a reading theater, RT we call, and this is our first, uh, the story that is a little bit long because I choose this one is because we have a quite number of people. So hope that everybody get the part to read. So everybody involved and no one has to be just listen. So I will choose the select the parts because we have the narrator 1 to 4. So we need 4 people for the narrator. And the rest we have the name in the story. While we share the screen, we can view, and with participation of all the people, we can enjoy today's story and share their views. And there are 2 parts. One is to about the school, and the other part is the counting how the 2 session of schools going on. And this is a very quite nice story about the just hold on. Can you see the screen? Hello?
No,
No? Wait.
not yet.
No, we can't.
Was disable participant screening share. How to scare? That's all.
Second, I may have to make you host again. Hold on.
Yeah, please make me host again. Otherwise, I couldn't.
Now you're the host.
Now I am the host. I am again. Can you see everybody?
Now it's coming. It's coming. Started. Yes, yes.
Okay.
We can see.
Okay. So today's the reading theater is the theme is 3 sideways stories from Wayside School. And this is a kind of humor, and it's a culture is American. Theme is horizontal thinking. So we have narrators 1 to 4, and Mrs. Joel, Bibi, Calvin, and Louis. So I like to select 4 narrators, and the other rest will be Mrs. Joel's, Joy, Baby, and Calvin. So rather than I pick up, if you guys want to be select their own the role, I give the opportunity for you to select. Can you see the roles?
Your screen
No,
is
we can't.
so they don't see them, but we know.
No,
What
can you
happened?
share the screen again?
Okay, now here goes. Nigel, can you become narrator 1?
Yes.
Yeah, the narrator 2, Nadia.
Okay.
But can
Narrator 3, Georgia.
Georgia is
Hello,
on a
Georgia.
bus. She can't read.
She's
She can't read. She's traveling. She's on a bus.
Oh, she's traveling. Okay. Then number 3 is Katerina.
Okay.
And the number 4, can you, because I cannot see the people, the list.
Raihana.
You can,
Raihana
Helena,
number
you
4. Raihana.
okay. Raina,
Number
okay.
4.
Raina.
Raihana number 4.
And who was the left?
Mustafa.
Yeah, Mustafa, you will be Joe.
Sure.
Rest, anybody else?
Yes, me, Abdul Qadir.
Any guy?
Abdul Qadir.
Yeah, you can be a Calvin. Yes,
Calvin.
avocado is you can be Calvin.
Baby.
And
Cicely, I'm Han.
yeah, Nilanjala can be Babe. And who wants to be Miss Joel?
Cicely.
Yeah, Cicely.
આમાંથી જો તો આનું થાય છે connection બની.
Yes. So we have 2 newcomers. My friends from India. Louis. Yeah.
Yes, the part is Luis.
Yeah, Louis. You can take it, Gayatri.
Louis, yeah, I would like to hear listener if
You would
it's because it's my first experience, but it's okay if everybody is will not ready, then I will ready.
Maybe Manju can do it. Manju, are you there?
Hello? Hello? Are we starting?
Can
Yes,
you
now
please?
yes.
Hi, yeah.
Yes.
Can you please repeat once again? What were you saying?
No, I mean there's one role is left for Louis.
Luis.
Yeah, Louis.
Luis.
I want somebody else. Okay,
Louis?
Gayatri can become yes.
Okay.
Okay, I am going to
Okay.
take Louis.
Okay, done. Then that's it. So we have these 2 part of this story.
Okay.
That is, yeah, the one part is how the school built, and this is like a 30th story of the school that built, and one side that the building has 30 story, and the person who built, the builder, he's supposed to build only 1 story high with the 30 classroom all in a row, but instead he built this 30 story high with only 1 classroom each. Yeah, this is the story about that. So let's go. Let's begin with this story. We start with the narrator 1. Nigel, please.
Pia, I'm sorry, but Olga is in the waiting room. Can you let her in, please?
Wait the room.
Olga.
Oh, Olga.
Can you
Yes.
see her, or has she written to you, Ekaterina?
She has written to me.
Okay, because I think Nilanjana, another Nilanjana, is in the waiting room as well, I hope. She came
And
last week.
Pia is the host. He can let them in, both
Okay.
of them.
Item admit. Mustafa. Nilanjana, yes. All are in now. Okay. Okay, here it goes.
Ready?
Yeah, ready.
Thank you.
We are going to tell you about 3 of the children in Mrs. Jewell's class on the 30th story of Wayside School.
But before we get to them, there is something ought to know. Wayside School was accidentally built silently.
તેને કે કાઢી નાખે.
Yes, can you move the screen, please? It was supposed to be only 1 story high with 30 classrooms all in a row. Instead, it is 30 stories high with 1 classroom on each story.
The builder said he was very sorry.
Can you move the screen,
Scroll
please?
the screen, please. Cannot see. Here too cannot see.
Move the screen, please.
Please scroll up.
Yeah. Can you
No,
see
no.
now?
No?
Oh, no.
We don't
Scroll
see
up.
the screen, the text.
Scroll up. Scrolling up, please.
Move the text up, please.
હા ખોલ નાખ તો લોક તારું
Okay.
આમાં ટ્રાય કરે છે.
Move the
Not
text
yet,
up,
not
please.
yet. The text is not appearing here.
Okay.
Oh,
Can you see now?
Uh-huh. Yes.
yes.
Okay.
Our first story is about Joe. One day, Mrs. Jules kept him in from recess.
Joe, you are going to have to learn to count.
But Mrs. Jones, I already know how to count. Let me go to races.
First, count to 10.
Joe counted to 10.
6, 8, 12, 1, 5, 2, 7, 11, 3, 10.
No, Joe, that is wrong.
Move the video.
Yeah.
How many?
No, it isn't.
No, isn't.
Isn't it?
No,
No, it's
no, it isn't. I counted till I got to 10.
But you were wrong. I'll prove it to you.
She put down 5 pencils.
How many pencils do we have here, Joe?
Grace is in the waiting room, excuse me.
Joe counted the pencils.
4, 6, 1, 9, 5. There are 5 pencils in Mrs. Jules.
That's wrong.
How many pencils are there?
5.
Move the page, Piya. Move the page.
Appear
Grace is in the waiting room.
okay. I got it. I already admitted Grace's.
That's what I said. May I go to races now?
No, you got the right answer. But you counted the wrong way. You were just lucky.
She set down 8 potatoes.
How many potatoes, Joe?
Joe counted the potatoes.
7, 5, 3, 1, 2, 4, 6, 8. There are 8 potatoes, Mr. Jules.
No, there are 8.
But that's what I said. May I go to races now?
No, you got the right answer, but you counted the wrong way again.
Error to 2.
9, yeah?
Oh, yes, excuse me. She put down 3 books.
Count the books, Joe.
Joe counted the books.
1,000, 1,000,000, 3, Mrs. Jules.
Correct.
May I go to races now?
No,
May I have a potato?
That's
Jones.
Mrs. Joy.
Cecily?
I think
You are logged.
the lock.
You are logged, Cecily.
yes, one minute I was saying because there was an external noise, so I was saying 1 minute.
Okay.
So anyway, no, listen to me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you say it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Very good.
She put down 6 erasers.
Now count the erasers. Joe, just the way I showed you.
Joe counted the erasers.
Piya. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10, Mrs. Jones.
No.
Don't I count it right?
Yes, you counted it right, but you got the wrong answer.
This doesn't make any sense. When I count the wrong way, I get the right answer. And when I count right, I get the wrong answer.
Oh,
Mrs. Jules hit her head against the wall 5 times.
How many times did I hit my head against the wall, Joe?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You hit your head against the wall 10 times.
No.
4, 6, 1, 9, 5. You hit your head 5 times.
Mrs. Jules shook her head no and said,
Yes, that is right.
Just then, the bell rang.
Oh, done.
Hey, Joe.
I missed the races.
our second story is about, how should I read the name?
Bibi. Bibi.
Bibi.
Bibi.
Bibi.
Bibi.
Bibi was the fastest drawer in Mrs. Jules' class. She could draw a cat in less than 45 seconds, a dog in less than 30, and a flower in less than 8 seconds.
Oh, baby never draw just one dog or one cat or one flower.
Art was from 12:30 to 1:30. Why? In that time, she could draw 50 cats, 100 flowers, 20 dogs, and several eggs or watermelons.
You see, it took her the same time to draw a watermelon as an egg.
Calvin sat next to Bibi. He didn't think he was very good at art. It took him the whole period just to draw one airplane.
Oh, instead, he just helped baby. He was baby's assistant.
As soon as Bibi could finish her masterpiece, Calvin would take it from her and set down a clean sheet of paper. Whenever her crayon ran low, Calvin was ready with a new crayon.
That way, Bibi didn't have to waste any time, and in return, Bibi would draw 5 or 6 airplanes for Calvin.
It was 12:30. Time for art.
Baby was ready. On her desk was a sheet of yellow construction paper in her hand and was a green crayon.
Calvin was ready. He held a stack of paper and a box of crayons.
Ready, baby?
Ready,
Ready, baby?
Calvin?
All right, class.
Said Mrs. Jules.
Time for art.
She had hardly finished her sentence when Bibi had drawn a picture of a leaf.
Rihanna.
Calvin took it from her and put down another piece of paper.
Red.
Calvin handed Bibi a red crayon.
Blue.
He gave her a blue crayon.
They were quite a pair. Their teamwork was remarkable.
Baby drew picture as fast as Calvin picked up the whole paper and set down the leaf.
A fish.
An apple.
Three cherries.
Bing.
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 At 1:30, Mrs. Jules announced,
Okay, class, art is over.
Baby dropped her crayon and fell over her face. Her face.
Calvin sighed and leaned back in his chair. He could hardly move.
They had broken their own record. Bibi had drawn 378 pictures. They lay in a pile on Calvin's desk.
Mrs. Jules walked by.
Calvin, did you draw all these pictures?
No, Bibi drew them all.
Well then, what did you draw?
I didn't draw anything.
Why not? Don't you like art?
I love art. That's why I didn't draw anything.
I don't understand.
It would have taken me the whole period just to draw one picture. And Bibi would only have been able to draw 100 pictures. But with the two of us working together, she was able to draw 378 pictures. That's a lot more art.
Baby and Calvin shook hands.
No. That isn't how you measure art. It isn't how many pictures you have, but how good the pictures are. Why? A person could spend their whole life drawing just one picture of a cat. In that time, I'm sure Baby could draw 1,000,000 cats.
2,000,000.
But if that one picture is better than each of Bebe's 2,000,000, then that person has produced more art than Bebe.
Baby looked like she was going to cry. She picked up all the pictures from Calvin's desk and threw them in the garbage.
Then she ran from the room, down all the stairs and out onto the playground.
Louis, the nice yard teacher, spotted her.
Louis.
Somebody can be Louis.
Louis.
Where are you going, Bibi?
Can I?
I'm going home.
If you don't mind.
Hold
Will
up.
you bring it to school and show it to me tomorrow?
Tomorrow? By tomorrow, I doubt I'll be finished with even one whisker.
Ha ha.
Our final story is about Calvin. One day, Mrs. Jules said,
Calvin, I want you to take this note to Mrs. Zarvez for me.
Miss Zarvez?
Yes, Miss Zarvez. You know where she is, don't you?
Yes, she's on the 19th story.
That's right, Calvin. Take it to her.
Calvin didn't move.
Well, what are you waiting for?
She's on the 19th story.
Yes, we have already established that fact.
The 19th story?
Yes, Calvin, the 19th story. Now take it to her before I lose my patience.
But, Mrs. Jules?
Now, Calvin.
Yes, ma'am.
Calvin walked out of the classroom and stood outside the door.
He didn't know where to go.
as you know, when the builder built Wayside School, he accidentally built it sideways, but he also forgot to build the 19th story.
He built the 18th and the 20th, but no 19th. He said he was very sorry.
There was also no Miss Zarvez.
Jarvis taught the class on the 19th story. Since there was no 19th story, there was no Miss Jarvis.
And besides that, as if Calvin didn't have enough problems, there was no note.
Mrs. Jules had never given Calvin the note.
Boy, this is just great. I'm supposed to take a note that I don't have to a teacher who doesn't exist and who teaches on a story that was never built.
He didn't know what to do.
He walked down to the 18th story.
Then back up to the 20th.
Then back down to the 18th.
And back up again to the 20th.
There is the 19th story.
There had never been a 19th story.
There would never be a 19th story.
Calvin walked down to the administration office on the first story. He decided to put the note in Miss Jarvis's mailbox.
But there wasn't one of those either. They didn't bother Calvin too much, since he had a note.
He looked out of the window and saw Louis, the young teacher, shooting baskets.
Louis will know what to do.
Calvin went outside.
Hey, Louis. Hi, Calvin. Do you want to play a game? I don't have time. I have to deliver a note to Miss Jarvis up to the 19th story. Then what are you doing all the way down here? There's no 19th story. Where is Miss Jarvis? There is no Miss Jarvis. What are you going to do with the notes? There is no note. I understand. That's good because I sure don't. It's very simple. You are not supposed to take no notes to no teachers. You already haven't done it.
Calvin still didn't understand.
I'll just have to tell Mrs. Jules that I couldn't deliver the note. That's good. The truth is always best. Besides, I don't think I understand what I said either.
Calvin walked back up the 30 flights of stairs to Miss Jules' place. Yes.
Thank you very much, Calvin.
But
That was a very important note, and I'm glad I was able to count on you.
Yes, but you see,
The note was very important. I told Miss Jarvis not to meet me for lunch.
don't worry,
Said Calvin.
she won't.
So now you know about Wayside School. Some people say these stories are strange and silly.
It is probably true.
But when the children at Wayside School heard stories about us, they thought we were strange and silly.
And that's for sure.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
nice.
Thinking differently, yes.
Very nice. Yes. Very nice.
Yes, though this is a very long story, it's very nice to read.
It's nice though, yeah.
Yes, stories from Wayside School. So what do you think about this? Is this strange and silly?
Piya,
Sorry?
stop sharing your screen and bring them back into the group.
I stopped.
Stop
What
sharing.
shall I do now?
Stop
Go
sharing
up?
your screen.
Okay. Stop sharing it.
There you go.
Okay.
You talk about the story and you can see who you're talking to.
Yes, good
So how
choice.
you feel about the story, today's story?
I thought it was very interesting. I read the script through before this morning and smiled and thought it was quite long, but I thought it went very well with the readers now. Thank you.
Thank you.
From Geneva, what?
Yeah, Nilanjala, what do you think about this? Is the story strange and silly? Oh, we are the strange and
It depends upon which Nilanjana you're asking, sir.
oh.
So I guess this story is about people who think differently, and they are often considered to be strange and silly.
Yeah.
But they are not.
They are not. They are. I do
They're
agree.
looking at the things from different point of view, from a different point of view.
This, you know, Nadia, I do share the same idea, because this reminds me with that kind of bilateral thinking. The way you think in a different way makes you like a different person with different ideas, with kind of critical thinking. You are not that ordinary person. You tend to live in another way. Sometimes there are some people who are supposed to be silly, not intelligent, but in contrast, they are different because they live in their own world. They think in a very a special way of thinking. So they are supposed to be not. I don't want to say they are not normal, but they are special.
They're not conventional.
I think
They are extraordinary.
I think it's an interesting stories. It teach us it is not good to do much work, but it is good to do this good correctly and in great way.
May I add something here? Now,
Yes, please.
yeah, the first story, you know, it was hilarious, but very interesting indeed. So once what happened, there was a teacher. He asked a student that I give you 2 apples, okay, and you have none. So how many would you have? So the child says, I'll have 3. So the teacher says, listen to me correctly. If I give you 2 apples, how many apples would you have? The child again says 3. So now at this point of time, either the teacher can get upset and annoyed or try to understand that child's way of thinking, why the child is saying 3. He said 3 because his mother had packed an apple for his lunch. So he already had an apple, which the teacher could not see, you know? So that's why when the teacher said, I give you 2 apples, how many would you have? The teacher couldn't see that the child already has an apple with him. And so he says 3. So it's about perspective, how we look at things, how children think, you know, because the counting was different, but the answers were correct.
Yeah.
You know,
Angela, Angela, you just mentioned something which is very very great. Sometimes the teachers themselves they don't care about those students or pupils with their ways of thinking. Sometimes they consider that those pupils are silly, they are not intelligent, but we need to know how to consider their feelings, emotions, ways of thinking, because it's up to us as teachers to understand their perspectives, their ambitions, their ways of thinking. So sometimes we need to blame ourselves as instructors, as educators, as teachers.
Preachers.
Yeah.
They say teacher, preacher.
Yeah. You know, I just want to add on to what you're saying. I think that the responsibility laid on the teacher, she didn't realize that. She kept giving it to the child to get it right. Yeah. But if she had taken the responsibility and used her power to face that it was actually her, and she was not trying to work with the child, it's like we always have to look at ourselves. We tend to look at others when it's really us. So if she had came up with a creative way to teach him, then it would have been a bit more successful. She was sort of kept giving and giving, giving. It's like work with the child. Yeah. And this is what happens as teachers is that, you know, and sometimes it's because if you've got a classroom of 35 students, what else can you do? That's the hand you've been dealt. But I must say, Piya, it was a nice story. I felt like I didn't want it to finish. Even though it was mentioned in the beginning that it was long, I didn't feel like it was long at all. I just wanted to keep going. All right, what's the next story? So it was very, I enjoyed it very much. Excellent choice, Piya. And we read very nicely all together. Thank you.
And what's about the 19th story?
Hey, Pia, is there another story?
Yeah, no.
We are looking forward for another story.
Yeah, that's a long story. There are actually 2 long story today, so we choose this one.
Yeah.
And
It wasn't that long story as Cecilia
not.
just mentioned. Yeah, we didn't
We
feel
have the Sherry, though we had a few participants at the beginning. At the end, we have more roles to play, and we have more than 16 people.